Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to replace the battery on the Sony WH-1000XM5. At least I believe that's the right model number. Hopefully I got it right. Okay, so here are the headphones. We're basically going to pop it open and replace the battery. So the battery is on the side with the USB-C port, obviously. Okay, so we need to get this little earmuff thing off. So the way you do that, you can use any flat tool. You can use plastic pry tools or whatever. Anything that you can use to get in here. I would start towards the top here, but basically you do this and you get in and then you pry it this way. And the reason you're going that way is to undo the clip. This one I prefer because it can go, it's thinner, it can get underneath better. And then we can kind of pry that out, okay? So you can see there's 3 clips around the top and then 3 clips around the bottom. So we'll do this one first. And then once we got this up, if you want, you can wedge something in there, but you work your way around the side here and then pry there, that corner, and then pry this corner, okay? So now we got those 3 out. You can see how it pops up like that. We're gonna go around the side. You actually don't need to use the tool once you get the top going. You can actually just use your finger and pull this basically inwards towards the center, okay? So just like that, in towards the center. Same thing over here, okay? We'll just go in towards the center. So get in there, use your thumb, and then pull it in towards the center. Work your way lower, and then work your way towards the center. And here you can see what the clips look like. Okay, so again, one here, one here, one here. They're kind of towards the bottom half, and then you got 3 towards the top half. Okay, and here you can see how the clips look. Hopefully you can see. I don't know, the lighting makes it a little difficult, but there you go. And you can only put these in one way, so keep that in mind. You see how this clip is towards the center, and that's why I pulled that one out first. The other reason, if you look here, you see how it has these little dimple thingies? So these kind of lock these, so it's harder to kind of pull it inwards. You need to be able to lift this slightly before you can pull them, the clips out. So it's easier to actually start towards this portion of the headphone. Or you can kind of do here, but you can see how here there's like no clips. So it's actually easier. This one's the easiest if you can. Oops, sorry. This side's the easiest, but when it flips over, it's this side. Okay, anyways, there's this little foam thing here. So we're going to take that out. Make sure you don't mix it up. We're going to go ahead and just flip it over and keep that this way. You can actually see how it has this little cutout here. Okay, and that kind of lines up with this protrusion, but there's not really much other way to see how to get this in, I don't think. Just keep in mind this part where it's solid goes closer towards this connection, okay? If you take it out and you're confused, because I don't know if it will go in upside down. It kind of goes in upside down, yeah. So you don't want to put it in upside down though, obviously. So make sure you take note of which way this goes and then get this in properly. The other thing is there's this protruding stuff here. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit more. There's this protruding stuff here. So actually when you put this in, you're going to have to like make sure to push that in. So make this go towards the back. Okay. And then push that inwards just like that. And there you go. That's how it will kind of sit in there more perfectly. Okay. So we're going to take that back out. All right. Now we got to remove all the screws here. These look to be PH0, JS0 screws, so let's go ahead and get those out. We're going to use, again, a PH0 or JS0 screwdriver. You want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths, although these might actually all be the same. But anyways, the way I do that is, let me see if I can get them out, okay, is I put it flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove all these screws. So there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 screws, okay? There's 4 around the outer portion towards the top and bottom, and then there's 4 in the center. Actually, the ones in the center might be shorter. Let's see. Are they all going to be the same length? Actually, they're the same length. Okay. So they are the same length, so I guess if you do mix them up, it probably won't be an issue, but I always like to put the same screws back where I found them, especially since it feels like it's actually screwing into the plastic. And when that happens, it basically is cutting the plastic up. So if you keep putting in the wrong screws, basically instead of having the screw threads, it's going to end up being more like just a hollow like tube, and the screws won't grab into it anymore. So I always like to put the same screws where I got them, okay? That's one of the important things that I like to kind of do. Make sure that none of the screws are being mixed up. And also when I put the screws back in, I like to twist it backwards to feel it kind of click into place before I tighten it down. That way I make sure that the threads go into the same spot where it was originally. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish getting all these screws out. All right. The screws are a bit long, so they can fall over easily while putting them like that. So if you have a bigger work area, you can kind of just spread them all out and make sure you don't mix them up, okay? Anyways, we got all those screws out. Let's see now if this will pop off easily or if it's going to be a pain. So, okay, so this looks like it comes out relatively easily. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so it's actually coming out easily. Make sure to open it slowly. There is a cable here, which technically we don't need to remove, but I'll remove it just to make it easier to work on. Okay, I wonder what this is for. Is this like an antenna or something? You see all this circuitry in there? Interesting. Okay, anyways, to remove this, just grab as close as you can to the connector possible, and then you just pull straight out, okay? So just grab it and then kind of pull it. You might have to wiggle a little bit, just slightly, and pull, and there we go. Okay, so take note of how it was plugged in. When you go to plug it back in, you see this line here that goes in towards the battery. So I forgot what they call this cable. I know the other one where there's a clip, it's called a ZIF connector, but this one is not a ZIF connector because you have to, there's some force that's applied. The ZIF stands for zero insertion force. This one definitely is not a zero insertion force connector. Oh, that's a cool carrying case. Okay, anyways. So you have the battery here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replacement battery that we got. Okay, make sure it looks the same. So here's the replacement battery. It came with some shrink tubing for some reason. I'm not sure why. Hopefully I don't have to do any shrink tubing. But here's what the battery looks like. The replacement one says 3.8 volt, 1600 milliamp hours, 6.08 watt hours. HXJN-LDC, I'm assuming that's the model number, for WH-1000XM5. Did I say X5M earlier? Okay, so here is the battery that's currently in there, and does it need to go upside down like this? Okay, I think I have to plug it in this way because you can see how the connector's going in like that. And let's see, they put some tape here, so we are going to have to peel that out. I'm going to use this little tool to kind of scrape it up if I can to peel it off. Okay, once we get it going, hopefully we can just peel it off without any issues. Okay, yep. And okay, so here you can see how it connects. It connects under there. Take note of the wires: black one, yellow, red. So we got the same thing here: black, yellow, red. Okay. The thing is, how does this, is it just held in with adhesive that I have to peel out? I think it's just adhesive that you have to peel out. So there is somewhat of a strong adhesive. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this tool under here and slowly pry. The only thing is I'm going to be prying against this plastic stuff, so it kind of has me a little bit worried. I'm going to pry against this side because it seems a little more solid. And I'm just going to go under and slowly apply pressure. It helps to just go slow. Don't try and pry it out all at once. If you want, you can probably put like a drop of isopropyl alcohol in there, and that will help get it out, but you want to be careful not to get the isopropyl alcohol everywhere inside, because if it mixes with the adhesive, you don't know if the adhesive stuff has anything conductive in it. So yeah, I would just do this and pry slowly. I don't know if you can see in there that the adhesive is slowly peeling up. Okay, you just go very slow. Don't try and rush it. Take your time. If you really again want to go fast, you can use a little isopropyl alcohol, but I mean, it seems like it peels out okay. It's not too difficult, so no need to risk anything weird like that. Okay, we're gonna slowly keep peeling on it. Okay, you can see the adhesive is in there. All right, and we're gonna check the battery obviously before we go ahead and install it, because we want to see if the replacement one has the same kind of specs or anything. Okay, and we're also going to try and transfer this foam over. Maybe I can transfer the entire label since the other one doesn't even have a label. And here you can see they have this little thing here. I believe this is a thermal sensor. Okay, so yeah, usually like the ones direct from the factory have better like protections and stuff. I don't think the replacement has that. But anyways, I'm gonna grab this, and usually if you can, you would grab the wings of the connector, but there's all these things in the way. So I'm just gonna grab as close as I can on the wires and kind of wiggle it sideways as I kind of pull. You don't want to pull really hard, just wiggle and apply a little pressure. Okay, here you can see what the connector looks like. And let's go ahead and take a look at the replacement one. So the replacement one, okay, I'm gonna probably have to, yeah, let's go ahead and get this foam thing off first. And if I'm gonna put it the same way, this one, you can see how the wire goes like that, and then it goes like bending over this way. So I'm gonna try and plug it, kind of do the same thing, but make sure, oops, I didn't take note of which way the connector went. Oh no. Okay, this thing at least has like some raised tabs so you can know which way it goes. I think I twisted the connector around because I'm pretty sure this, you see those metal pins, those face down. And you can actually see how this has a thicker portion towards the top of the connector. So this connector, they actually designed it so you don't plug it in upside down. If you take a look, they have the raised or the wider area towards the top. But if you're not paying attention and you try and force it in, you can actually cause some damage there. Okay, so again, as you can see, there's this thermal sensor here. That's not in this battery. I don't see one. And you can see how this chip is different. Okay, so yeah, this battery pack they designed without that stuff in there. So I don't know. If you want it to be the same, you might have to look out for that. All right, there's the foam thing here. I don't know how you would get like the original replacement ones though. Okay, I'm going to try and peel this foam pad up and see if I can transfer it over. I'm going to use the pokey end here. It's peeling up a little. Okay, usually once you kind of get the adhesive going, you can kind of grab the pad and then peel it up. Okay, all right, you can see now that we got a corner up, I'm just going to grab, oops, sorry. Now they got a corner up, I'm going to grab here, and then just using my fingernail, I'm just rolling this. Okay, I'm not like pulling on it, I'm just rolling it. And there we go. Okay, so this, they just put the foam pad on this side. Okay, so I'm going to put it in around approximately the same spot. And let's see if we can verify the same information. The thing is, they can write whatever they want on here, so I don't know if it would be exactly the same, but here we go. So the model of this battery, I don't know if you can see it, 723741. What else is there? I want to make sure this rated capacity, 1200 milliamp hours. So this one actually has larger capacity, and you can actually see it's a thicker battery. But yeah, so technically this one should last longer. Rechargeable lithium ion, 3.8 volts. So this is also 3.8 volt, and it says limited charge voltage 4.35 volts. This one also says limited charge 4.35. So this one, the stuff is written there super tiny, but this is the original battery. Okay. All right. Do not disassemble. Do not put in fire. All that, those warning things. And yeah. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna show the original close-up just in case you need any of that information. You can pause and read that off if you want. Okay, and then here's the replacement one. Okay, the replacement one though is going to be face down this way, so yeah. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get the battery in there. I'm going to actually push, okay, there's a gap here, so I'm going to actually, is there a thing that goes into that area? No, it's just a cone here. So technically you can slide the battery all the way up, it doesn't matter, but because there's more adhesive towards the bottom, I'm actually going to keep it all the way, oh my god, Oreo! Shh. I'm going to keep it all the way towards the bottom. Sorry if my dog scared you, he kind of scared me. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get that in, and then just push that down. All right, then we have this connector that we need to rotate all over the place. And give me a second. All right, sorry about that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this connector in. Again, you want these metal pins facing down. So the old one was like this, right? And then the connector went in this way. I think the wire on this is longer, so hopefully I'll be able to tuck all the wire away. Okay, but anyways, this adhesive, you want to make sure it stays out of the way when you get this. We're going to go ahead and get this wire. And then I like to pinch both sides together, if I can reach both sides, okay, and pinch that together just like that. So you're not putting all the force onto the connector itself, or pinching it so that way it pushes both pieces together. Okay, so the customer was telling me that this was only working with the 3.5 millimeter jack before, so hopefully after this change, it should be good. Okay, let me double check how this battery was in there. So it was like this, right? So see, there's all this extra slack. I don't know where to hide it. I'm gonna just tuck it up here like this, and then the tape should, oops, the tape should hold it there, but now not anymore because it peeled off. Let's see, was this tucked under here? It might have been. Okay, I don't know how I'm gonna tuck it back under now. Get that under there. I'm gonna use this little tool. I know somebody's gonna say something about, why are you using metal tools? Okay, this it's really thin and I need to push the adhesive, or I'm trying to push the adhesive under there. Okay, anyways, now we got the tape. And also, as you notice, once you kind of bend the wire, it kind of stays that way. So yeah. All right, next thing we're gonna do, also be careful when you work on this not to press on that. You don't want to damage it. Okay, now we got to put this piece back on. All right, again, it's gonna be a little tricky because you have to like hold it up while you're working on it. I don't know if there's a way you can kind of rest it on a table or something here. I'm just gonna rotate it this way to make it easier. And let me see if I can zoom in for you guys to see. Okay, so now we can grab this cable and you gotta line this up. I don't even know if you can see. Okay, you gotta line this up into the slot and then you gotta push it straight down, okay? Sorry, I know the cover's probably getting in the way, but you gotta push this straight down. They put this tape on it. I guess this kind of helps, but if you roll this over a little bit and then push on this, the brown portion, you can use that to help push it into place, okay? So there's a solid kind of plastic tab there, but you want to be careful because if you bend this too much, you can break the connection down there. Okay, so anyways, there we go. That's reconnected. I'm gonna zoom back out and we're just gonna roll this back over the top. Okay, and this, just line it all up and close it down. Okay, this is being a little weird. Make sure again, oh, all these wires are kind of sticking up. Line this all up. This doesn't really have any clips. It's kind of just, I mean, these look kind of like clips, but I don't know. It doesn't really clip in. It's more like it's just sitting there. So you got to hold this together. And while you're kind of holding it all together, we're going to go ahead and put the screws back in. Okay. So let's go ahead and grab this one. And we'll kind of drop it in there. Okay. Again, I like to twist backwards. You hear that click? I don't know if you can hear it. Once it clicks, then I go ahead and twist forward. Okay. Tighten that down. Good. All right, we'll get the opposite corner now. Get that in there. Okay. And then same thing, backwards. Hear it? Okay, once it clicks, you go ahead and tighten that down. All right, now that we got two corner screws in, we don't really have to hold it anymore. We can go ahead and grab the other screws. Same thing, twist it. Feel it click, and then tighten it down. All right. Okay. Then we got the other one, same thing. Click, and then tighten that down. Right? Battery replacement on this is actually relatively simple. I'd say, well, at least for me, the hardest part or somewhat scariest part is just popping these things out. The nice thing with those is they're replaceable. So if for some reason you end up breaking it, I mean, I guess you could always get a replacement and stick it back in, just as long as you don't break these spots. If you break these spots, then you're going to have a tough time because you're going to have to swap this whole speaker piece out, and yeah, I don't know, that's going to be a lot more complex. Okay. Yeah, so keep that in mind. If you somehow manage to break it taking it out, hopefully it's on the other end. I mean, the plastic here should be much stronger than the plastic on these, so the chance that you break this side is a lot lower, unless you're just like, I don't know, really yanking on it or something. Okay. All right, one more screw. Good. All right, and now that we got all those screws back in, you do want to look around it, make sure that the gap looks very even. Okay, looks good, looks good. Okay, compare it to the other side, looks good. Okay, so next we gotta put the foam thing. Again, you see this cut open portion, you want that to line up over here, and this goes into here. So again, I start by resting this back portion of the foam against these two little notches there, and then push this side in so it squeezes itself into place. Then we'll just lower this, make sure everything lines up. Looks good. Okay, and you can see how this cut lines up there, and you can see how this all lines up there. Okay, looks good. Again, the one where the three are more evenly spaced go towards the top, and then the one with this gap goes towards the bottom. So what I like to do here is we're gonna actually get the bottom one first, so you kind of like go at an angle and slide it towards this. Okay, just like that. All right, now I kind of felt a click, but if you slide it in, you might not feel that click, but you can try and like pull on it, and you see how it's kind of pulling the whole thing up. That's how you know it's good. Okay, then you work your way around. You feel that click, then you go in this one, you feel that click, go this one, feel that click, feel that click, and feel that click. All right, now if you go ahead and try and pull on it, see how it's all holding itself in together. So you should be good. All right, so next thing to do is to power it up. It should work. If it doesn't power on, then we might have to plug it in. But I don't know what the buttons are. Okay, I can actually see. You see how it lit up blue? I don't know if you saw that. Hopefully I'm not unpairing all his devices. Let me actually plug this in. But I don't know if you saw it light up blue. That means it's working. Okay, we'll plug this in. So I don't own these these headphones, but okay, you can see how this is orange. Again, this is a customer's headphones, so I'm not sure all the functions, features, how to turn it on and everything, but I'm assuming now that's good. And you see pressing once, I think, doesn't do anything, so I think you have to hold it. And there you go, it's like flashing blue. So I think we should be good. All right, I'll charge it up for him while I wait for him to pick it up. Oh, it's flashing blue all the time now. Okay, when I plugged it in, now it's staying blue, but it was flashing blue. Okay, when I unplug it, you see how it's just flashing blue? I hope that I might have accidentally put it in pairing mode, so he might have to pair them back with his devices. But that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And again, if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Again, I don't know why they gave me this heat shrink tubing, but yeah. I'll see if the customer wants their battery back. Sometimes people want it. But yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. If you can't, or if you want to help me out even more, I have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. Basically, I'm putting my review videos on this channel and that channel. I'm hoping to eventually only have the reviews on a single channel, so that way this channel is mainly just for the repairs. So if you want to see that happen, or you just want to help me out, yeah, make sure to find that channel, same profile picture, but zoomed in. Again, it's called It's Been Reviewed and More. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.